So I emailed James. I was like, look, James, this might sound really weird.
Hi, all, and welcome to another episode of the WINANDIN podcast, episode 41. I am your host, Eric. I am, of course, joined by my co-host, Gabe, and our special guests, that is plural guests. We got two of them from the Pitch Perfect pod. We have both Elaine and Melody. How are y'all doing today? I'm not used to having two guests, so just, yeah.
It's okay. Melody and I are used to this. I'm good. It's been a very, busy day. It's a Tuesday as we're recording this. Just got off work, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah, and I'm great too. We're coming into summer here, so it's a beautiful day. I've been out and about, chilling. And yeah,
Nice.
It's 1 o'clock, so just after lunchtime on a Wednesday here. So we are in the future here in New Zealand. But yeah, thanks for having us.
That's true. That's a good point. Cool. Yeah, well, yeah, appreciate you coming on. So a lot has been happening in Flesh and Blood, and a lot is going to be happening as Worlds is getting ever closer here in just a couple weeks now. But we have a bit of a stir up that happened. We'll first talk about the big news that is calling Melbourne. That calling had all your original heroes that you would expect, except there was a few that were very unexpected. For the first time, we got to see Dash.io really make waves and really just take the calling by storm, going undefeated all the way into the finals. Couldn't get there. Would have been amazing, but still amazing that what's his
Thomas
yeah.
something, I think.
Thomas Dowling.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Dowling.
Yep.
Okay. Got all the way there. So good job to Thomas. But last Zuri won the calling event, which is also a very one that you wouldn't expect to see win a whole calling, but good congratulations to Ben Dodd. I don't know. Were you guys able to catch any of that?
Yes, definitely. It was
Sorry,
a battle between
so many
New
guests.
Zealand and Australia. And
I didn't get to watch any of the calling live, but I was just kind of like keeping up with it on Twitter and stuff. I found it interesting. For Dash, I actually haven't played the Dash.io yet, and I didn't really have much interest to play it, to be honest, until like this. It kind of sparked my interest in Dash, but at the same time, as you said, like I really liked Zuri since she came out, and so it kind of like at the same time pulled me a little bit more towards Zuri.
Okay, how about you, Melody? Did anything stick out to you? Anything that you got from the Melbourne calling?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. I think lots of Kiwis being New Zealanders, were watching because we had loads of friends in there from New Zealand, and it was like an Australia versus New Zealand thing, which is maybe a bit like US versus Canada.
That's cool.
So I've not met Ben Dodd before. I've heard of him. I've seen him in our sales pages, but that was incredible. Like the whole lead up with Thomas getting 14-0 with Dash.io and just the crazy shit he was doing. Fyendal Spring Tunic, sorry, not Fyendal Spring Tunic, the Tome of Fyendal, just humongous plays, and he pretty much showed everyone what she's made of. And like that, I think they're, two big winners that came out of, I think, both of them. But something that's really interesting is that, so I was at a ProQuest, so I didn't get to see it live, but I watched the footage as I was talking to one of my friends. And where I live in Tauranga, it's a little beachy town where I basically wasn't able to test for Worlds at all. We don't have testing teams. We don't have a big community. And I'm like, I really want to move to Auckland because that's our main city for Fab and just to, get more games in, play with more people. And he's like, you should move down to Christchurch. He's like, I'm seriously thinking of Christchurch. He's like, they've got this incredible community down there that works together, tests. That's where Ben's from. So apparently down that end of the country, they're just incredible. And I think they had a couple of people that did really well at the calling. So I'm like, there's something in the water down there. And there's great people. So yeah, but all in all, like, I think one of the other things for me was I'm a Dromai main. I've been a Dromai main for a long time. Viz before that, and just so many people complaining about her. And it's like, well, actually, let's have a look at what happened at the Melbourne calling. It was absolutely crazy. Did we see her? No, we hardly did.
Yeah.
Like, it was every other hero. So I think it's an exciting time leading up to Worlds. We've got this fantastic diverse meta. Dromite is not OP. Anybody that's listening, she's not OP. And I think we're going to see some interesting games. I think we're going to see some interesting deck builds and a little bit of innovation. So, yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I'm curious because I think we all saw anyone that was watching like the first match in the top 8 and the first rounds of matches, it was Dromai versus Uzuri. And so I think everyone just, wrote Ben off. Like
they did it in the live chat always for sure.
Lose to Dromai. yeah. But sure enough, Uzuri was able to beat a Dromai, which shows that, like you said, like she is not the one like that is unbeatable. No, people love to complain, but this meta has been open, and it's just now starting to be innovated. How about you, Gabe? What struck out to you?
So many things. First, I'll go off on one of James White's tweets that he posted about the day 2 conversions because I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So this is like verbatim almost. It is verbatim. These heroes had a positive day 2 conversion at calling Melbourne, Lexi, Bravo, Dash, Uzuri, Icelander, Phi, Kano, which I thought was epic. We had Dash.io, which is also awesome. Arachne, which I heard Arachne was in the top 20s. I found that wildly cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And then a Riptide. Riptide apparently had a good day 2 conversion.
Riptide?
So that's what he said on his post. And I'm trusted him here.
Riptide in the entire calling. I was looking at all the hero
That's
stats.
100% conversion.
That's great conversion rates if I've ever heard it. So I was just that last little nugget of gold of Arachne Riptide. I was like, oh my lord, this is sick. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I think that was what I was most excited for. Of course, Dash just destroying it. I mean, you can ask Eric, the whole leading up to the whole tournament, anytime Dash was on camera or anything, I was like, Eric, do you see where they're sitting now? And he's playing in ProQuest, so of course, he's not probably responding, but I just kept he had so many messages of me telling him where Dash is at now. So it was so much fun. I mean, I usually want to go to bed pretty early, but I stayed up way later that night just so I could finish the stream and see if he got there or not. So it was exciting for Flesh and Blood that weekend.
Yeah.
Yep,
Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, I am more excited than ever for Worlds. Which I guess this is a good transition to our next topic here. Everyone saw this coming, and sure enough, it did. Lexi has officially hit Living Legend, which means that Tales of Aria is the first set to have all of their heroes hit Living Legend, which is kind of cool, kind of a testament to how strong Tales was. But also means that the new meta was rising, and not only are we not going to see Lexi anymore, we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of Dash.io, but I'm kind of curious on what more we're going to see. But we not only have Lexi hit Living Legend, but we had some Living Legend change. The rules have changed for Living Legend. There used to be seasons of where, every BNR announcement would come in with the Living Legend points and be like, okay, now this hero have obtained over 1,000. They're now Living Legend. They said, no more of that. We are going to do this every Monday. We're going to have a check. So this gets to where we can have some opinions. So we'll start with you this time, Melody. What is your opinion? Is it something that good, something bad? How do you feel about it?
So you're talking about the change in Living Legend. I personally like it. I've seen the discourse on Twitter, and I've spoken to some friends who feel that, they may get pinged if they've been testing a hero really hard. But, I mean, what it comes down to is I love it because it means that, yes, we can be a specialist with a hero, but there needs to be more diversity with that, and we're going to have to be looking at maybe a couple of heroes, and also keeping an eye on the Living Legend points. Like, if it's looking pretty close, then it's probably going to be a thing that legend, or sorry, that hero is going to LL. So I think as a player, for me, like, I dabble in a few other heroes, but now I'll be focused. I mean, Dromo's probably going to be gone next year, early next year, if she wins Worlds, hopefully. But hopefully not, because I still want to play her. I'm going to have to park up a couple of other heroes to play. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are going to talk about it, but the other announcement from James with 15 new heroes being released next year is absolutely insane. And I'm like, I put a post on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. And Elaine, I don't know if you saw it. But when we had James on our podcast, we asked him if there was going to be an all-arcane set. And I reckon that next year we're going to see an all-arcane set, and we're going to have a whole shit ton of new arcane heroes. So it's going to be like just what we've had with Bright Lights, right? We've got all mech. We're going to have all arcane. Yes!
I'm for it. I'm 100% for it.
So cool.
All right.
So, yeah, that's my thoughts. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I also kind of like it. I think that, like Melody said, it kind of breeds like this innovation in testing, and like kind of helps to squash down the like one pony trick. Which like I love identifying with heroes in Flesh and Blood. Like Briar was definitely my girl, and when she LL'd, or when she even got close to LLing, I was like, I stopped playing her, and then she lasted like another 2 months, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I just want to go back, but if I go back, she's gonna LL tomorrow. I know it. Like, so I kind of like that it like forces you outside of your comfort zone of like sticking to one hero. And yeah, as far as what Melody said about the 15 heroes, I'm not an arcane player, but like James White, if you're listening, adult Kasai, please.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you there.
We might see her in Queenstown.
That's true.
I actually like get emotional over that, like very emotional.
Oh yeah,
that'll be the start to our new heroes. There's a lot of
Kasai fans. Yeah. All right, Gabe, what you think?
Oh man, I'm excited for the change. I know a lot, like you said, a lot of people not asked for it, but I'm so stoked for it because not to say because like I think it's more like for the not the good reasons. I don't know if it's the good reasons or whatever you want to call it, but like I think it sounds super fun to you say pro quest, you know the deck you're going in on, and then last second you have to it's a different meta, and you have to like randomly switch to something else you might not be as adapt with. So then you might be able to get some like what's the word, like surprise factor. So you might have to be able to bring a hero that people aren't expecting, and then they're not on their old faithful, and you might be able just to meme your way to victory. So I thought it sounded fun.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah, I you know what, I agree. I'm all for it. I wish I could say like I was like be devil's advocate here, but like truly this is one of the things that attracted me into this game in the first place when I heard about the Living Legend setup. Where I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like you don't have to worry about the same hero like being dominant forever. So like making it even more consistent or like more like on time, because it was, as an Oldham player back in the day when Prism was around, it was really annoying to see Prism 2 points away and having to deal for another like 2 to 3 months after that. So I am pretty happy that that's not going to be a case anymore. And yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, more points too. They added to that. I don't know if you saw that, Eric. Certain events will gain more points too, so it's even quicker.
That is true. Yeah, they have adjusted it because of those 15 heroes. So you gotta, make it where it scales correctly. Yeah, it's gonna be big. That does confirm. I'm glad you brought that up, Melody, because that does confirm that it is more than likely heavy hitters will have all new heroes at this point.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Adult Kasai. She's technically would be a new hero.
Yeah. I mean, she could have a different name, She could have a totally different ability or something. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we had the Living Legends now, and then we got the BNR announcement that happened. Kind of what we expected. Nothing too big as far as for the CC. Lexi is LL, so Voltaire is banned as well, and Bullseye bracer comes back. So Azalea and that one Riptide player, they get their bracers back. But in Blitz, Soul Reaping is now suspended until Chain Living Legends, which is very weird wording to me because it's a specialization card. So it's like, well, of course it's suspended until Living Legend. Like, I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, so Chain lost a little bit, which is probably needed just because he was really dominating the Blitz meta. I don't know.
Yeah, Chain doesn't need Soul Reaping. I'll say it. It's a bad card.
I don't think he does not with the new style. Yeah,
the new Chain set. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got enough support from
Chain.
Yeah, but Vincent's stuff like heaps.
Right. yeah, definitely, 100%. And yeah, I think Chain and Kano will ride off into the distance here, and probably this new skirmish season, and then they are close, and then Elaine, your Kasai will be the new deck to beat after that.
Yay! I love Kasai.
Yeah.
Have you guys got your skirmish hero sorted? Just out of interest.
I do. Yes, I do. I am going to be that Chain player.
You are going to be the Chain player?
But I love this new Chain build that like came out in Tokyo, Battle Hard Tokyo, and then we saw in Battle Hard the Kular.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that name, but we saw this Chain with, like you said, with the Vincent build cards with it, and I've been playing with it, and it's so much fun. It feels cool. I didn't like the old Chain, but this Chain I like.
Have you got pummels in your deck?
I do. I love pummels.
Yes. And Gabe and Elaine, have you guys got your heroes?
Well, I only play
Kasai. That was an easy one. I saw the writing on the wall.
Yep.
So I can't play in my skirmish, sadly. I have to be running it, so I won't be able to play it. But for leading up to practice for all these, because we've just been jamming blitz up until it, so the locals get a lot of practice. I've been playing Prism, the new one, and so I've just been dorking with that, and it's been a lot of fun. How about you? Gotta tell us yours now. I mean, we know everyone else's, so you're up to bat.
Yeah,
Dromai.
No pressure.
Dromai.
Oh, really? Dromai.
I was testing it last night with my friend on Chain, fatiguing him. So to death.
Cool.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't realize this was a thing. I've been playing, and I've never been fatigued. I wasn't intending on fatiguing you. I'm just blocking out so I don't die. But I end up with more cards, and so yeah, I'm gonna play her.
Cool.
I don't care if she's not amazing, but I love her. So, yep.
Hey, as long as it's fun, that's all that matters.
No, me and Elaine are the boring ones. We went the meta heroes.
Well,
I mean, us illusionists.
that's just my hero. That's my girl.
Eric, okay.
No, okay. Yeah, so that's basically kind of what happened over this last weekend, this last week. So let's move on to why we have y'all here, because the Pitch Perfect podcast. It is definitely one of the first pods that I've listened to in Flesh and Blood. Because I have a lot of friends. Yeah, well, so I know a lot of. I used to live in Dallas, and so I knew a lot of friends that were a part of the Discord and recommended this. And especially when the Pitch League came out, I was in 100%. So So I've been keeping up. And the other thing too is, y'all were able to get some good guests. So y'all had some very good guests that made it very easy to click on to check it out. So
thank you.
But you know what? Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. But I like to give this little time to my guests, and I guess you guys y'all work together pretty well, so I'll let y'all figure out who to talk here. But for those that are listening right now that have not heard about the Pitch Perfect pod, what would be like your best way to, send a message out there, or like sell your podcast or whatever, just kind of explain your channel basically.
Our elevator pitch to say of Pitch Perfect Pod.
Yeah.
The Pitch Perfect podcast, Melody and I formed together as two females in the space. It just kind of like happened on accident, basically. But we were just, we just wanted to create just one video talking about our experience as a gender minority, as women in the TCG space, and in Flesh and Blood in particular, because that's the TCG we met through. And it just kind of snowballed into a whole podcast instead of just one video. And we started having guests on and talking about different topics. And we wanted to just kind of get like as many perspectives from the community, from as many different people from the community as possible, and just kind of like talk about these topics that you don't really hear about on just like, rather than focusing on game strategies and stuff, focusing on community and voices that might not be heard as often as others. And yeah, I think we just kind of wanted to like support our own little community within the greater community as a whole, and hopefully empower them and make them feel heard, and bring these topics like to the table,
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's perfect. That's a great sell. Because here's a little secret, which I don't know if I should really say, because like
okay.
I'm
You're
trying to
gonna have
get
to
more
now.
and more guests on, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
That's
now.
all.
Yeah. I don't consume a lot of Flesh and Blood YouTube content.
It's okay.
Yeah, and it's mostly because a lot of it is, and it is good, especially for players that want to have this content, but a lot of it is like strategy and, deck tech and whatnot. And we literally make these same videos. I just don't like listening to them. But that is, I think, I didn't even think about like why it is that I enjoyed y'all's podcast. And I think that's really what it is. It's not so much about like, hey, how can we metagame for this format or whatever. It's more, it is just, it feels more like just a casual podcast. And then the tone y'all set is just, it's great. It's very easy listening. Very, very easy listening.
Oh, what a
It's
compliment.
actually fun when you guys have like guests. Yeah, no, it really is. Like I actually enjoy podcasts, and this is more like a podcast that is more mainstream as far as the delivery and the setup and the content of it. But yeah, it's actually a lot of fun when you guys have like a very hyper energetic guest, because they definitely bring that on. But it's I don't know, it's just something different, and I don't know. Those are my favorite episodes, I should say. But yeah, I'm just fanboying right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
But you guys have the podcast, but you guys also have the videos that have on the Pitch League. I talked to Kiki. We had Kiki on the pod. There's to be another Pitch League in the future. I don't know when, but that's what I was hoping, at least. I don't know. It seemed like with how great the success was with this one, there to be another. So I would hope that there's even more videos of that coming as well.
Yeah, hopefully that is the hope. Sorry. I'm
That was all
crying
good.
over me.
Got the cameo.
Yeah, that's the hope. I think that Melody, Kiki, and myself would all love to do this again. I mean, it was really great seeing the community come together, and like I said, like obviously the league, not everyone could play in it, but still it felt like we had the support of everyone, even those who didn't meet the qualifications to play in it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, and I think that, like I said, Melody, Kiki, and myself would all love to see that happen again, and we'll get on organizing it. I'm gonna be honest, we've been on a break. That was a lot to take on, and we worked on it for I mean, we just recently finished, like, I think sending everything out and closing everything out, which would make it like a full year of work. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
There were a
I
lot
mean,
of
it was
learning.
rewarding in every way. It was a lot of learning. It was a lot of learning. And but that being said, a lot of learning for next season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that kind of goes into my next question is, when are we getting the next pod? You guys got me.
Did you say
on
the
a
next
drought
pod?
right now. I don't know. The next, yeah.
You take this away, Melody. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm lagging a bit, but we are looking to hopefully record this coming Friday.
My
Right.
Thursday, your Friday. Yeah, we're
Nice.
recording.
This coming
So
Friday. Like Elaine said, we've kind of been on a bit of a long break, and not gonna lie, the league was incredible. It did take a lot out of us. Like I said, there were lots of learnings for next time, huge learnings, and we didn't realize the sheer volume of work. And we were working full time and trying to do the league at the same time, and so we've had a break. But I've had a few people message me and ask, when are you guys doing another pod? And I'm like, I'll just ask Elaine. So we'll definitely be recording this week at some point and getting back into it. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
it's on my calendar, Melody. It's official. We're recording. My
cool.
Thursday, your
Excellent.
Friday.
Cool.
This is actually like Melody and I. This is the first time we've like sat and talked on video in like a month. Like,
been a long time.
the league was like, yeah, it's been a long time, and we've like been corresponding back and forth, trying to like wrap up all the put ribbons on all. What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to loose ends. That's what I'm trying to say. Tie up the loose ends that were still like lingering from the league. And then we finally tied that up probably about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And so we've been like on a long break to the public, but still working very hard behind the scenes. But the pod we are filming this week, it's coming back. We promise. It's not over.
No.
Cool. No, that's awesome. I'm excited for that. Then, all right, yeah. No, me and Gabe, we definitely understand the break.
They feel nice.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They feel great. Yeah, after nationals, we went on a little bit of a break, and we had to have a little talk, me and Gabe, just because we're like, hey, let's make sure we are having fun with this and like not just killing ourselves. And it's like, yeah, so
Yes.
but yeah, we're back at it and we're feeling great, and yeah, you see you guys are all coming back, so I'm excited for that. All right, Gabe, I'm gonna give it on over to you.
I got a lot of random questions. They're probably not as directed. Eric's usually the man with the good checkered list of falls in order. I'm pretty chaotic with some of these.
Okay.
So I mean, on the topic
Go
of the
for it.
pod, I love the pod. So when you guys have like topics that you go over, do you have like, is there any like same direction that every week going to try to have like some subplot, some theme to it, or is it all just whatever you find interesting, or is it the guest? Like, if somebody is starting a podcast, just talking about things, doesn't have to necessarily be any specific subject. Do you have any like suggestions on like something to focus on, or how you come about such great ideas?
Do you want to go for this, Melody, or you want me to?
I'm just like loving the compliments. I'm like, all the great ideas. Okay, cool. I can, and then maybe you want to jump in. So I think the question you're asking is that
That's
how
pretty
we come
broad.
up with the ideas for our podcast, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can be a multitude of different things. Like, for example, on Friday, we're looking to focus on a particular topic that is topical. It has come up over the last week. So sometimes things come about where we're like, you know what, we're hearing this happen out in the community. We want to address it or talk to people about it. Or it could be based on the guest that we're having. So they might have a particular background. Like we've had judges on, we've had all sorts of people on just to get different perspectives on different topics. So it really depends. I mean, Elaine talked to it a bit before, like the name of the game for us is to bring, is to empower others like us in the community, support them, and to hopefully drive some change with some of the behaviors that we see out there. So that will be the topic. We won't tell you what it is. It's a topic of discussion this Friday with our podcast as well.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to find out. I'll be clicking that right away now.
I'm going to jump on and say that Melody is you're not giving yourself enough credit. Melody is like the organization queen, okay? She keeps everything clean and organized behind the scenes. And I think when we started the idea for this podcast, and we were like, okay, we want to like bring up these voices that haven't really been heard, like including our own. And we also want to like take these voices that are getting a lot of like these high profile voices that are getting a lot of attention and try and like maybe get them to talk about topics that they're not talking about, because this is like to bring attention to these topics is a good way to do it by using high profile people to say. And so like when we came up with the idea for the podcast, Melody was like big Excel sheet table person and she was like all right, so like yeah, it's like, okay, these are people that I've met in the community that don't have a platform that I think are really cool. Or so like, I want to talk to them at some point. And Melody kind of like did the same. And then we're like, oh, well, these people we can match for like this roundtable, and like trying to just find parallels and being like, it's a topic that like I've always wanted to hear about, or I think about that I don't really hear. And like, so there's like a giant ongoing list of things that every now and then Melody and I will go look at, and we'll be like, we wanted to discuss that, and we never discussed that, or like, this is an experience that happened to me that I want to discuss. Let's like start messaging people, see if they've had similar experience, get them on to talk about it, So it's kind of just like a never-ending list of like, all right, these are like people we want to amplify their voices. These are topics we want to talk about. Let's bring this person on to talk about it, or people have shared experiences, or people who we think will kind of like help get our message across in a bigger way that we can.
I love that. That's awesome. Just perfect. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so now some of the more random questions. These ones are more in the weeds, but questions are questions, right? We'll start with you, Melody, because I thought this one was cool. So you started the game as a collector, is that right? Like you didn't start to just play the game, you started just to collect cards. And so, I guess you could tell us a little bit, like, this question will go further, of course, but what made you want to just collect this game out of the magnitude of others? There's Pokemon, Magic, so on. I mean, New Zealand, I'm guessing something with having Flesh and Blood in the troops there, or what was the catalyst?
I didn't even know it was made in New Zealand. I'd actually, no, I did. I'd been told at a convention, like a board gaming convention that I was at, that there was this hot new game, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then we had a lockdown, and I was like, oh, I'm really interested. I'm, curious. Well, what's it like? And what's his name? Fab Unsealed, Chris Sires, he was doing unboxing, and I'm like, okay, so I put it on the big screen, made all of my flatmates sit there or roommates watch unboxing with me for hours on end. And I was like, whoa, like it was the art. Like I loved the art. I'd played a little bit of Magic with a friend of mine not long before that, just for something to do. And I was like, oh yeah, the art's cool, but I don't know, the makeup of the Magic cards, you couldn't really see it very well. But I found the fab art just next level.
So
and
which class? Which class really drew you in?
Illusionist.
Nice.
There's one particular card, Melody.
Yeah, what's the card?
It was fantastic.
There's a card. I know.
Yeah. Nice.
And now, that's a good one.
Not to sound like a stalker, but wasn't that like your first full foil you pulled?
It was. Yes.
I did my homework. I did good.
So it was my fourth box, and I screamed the house down, and I was so excited, and I got it. It's in my corner over there, graded, and it's beautiful. So that was it for me. As soon as I hit that, it was all over. Because I like to gamble a little bit. with cardboard. And so then after that,
Same.
be like, okay, I need the hits, but couldn't afford it because they were like, I think the boxes were $600 American each when I came in,
Oh,
and so I bought one
that
box.
point, it was so high.
to the moon.
Yeah, that was to the moon.
Much
Now
more
they're like
affordable,
200.
at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad. Still expensive, but so then it's your collector. That's how you started. I mean, you play the game, of course, but what's your collection like now? Did you ever revisit older sets and like pick up some really sweet, spicy stuff, or are you just like monarching on? How does your collecting process go?
You can't see it, but I have a whole rainbow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 binders of
Okay.
every color under
Let's
the sun. They're all,
go.
and so I've got play sets of every single Majestic from every set.
Nice.
I have a special binder that's got it has 100 artist proofs in it because I collected artist proofs because I became
my.
obsessed with them.
That is cool.
And I have a couple of special folders. It's Welcome to Wraith Alpha. It's just commons and rares. And I've got a couple of Majestic Welcome to Wraith. I've got some first Arcane Rising. I opened my first Crucible of War first box. I did a trade with somebody in America I sent him a poster for a Sorcery Contested Realm, and he sent me that and like 6 amazing cold foils. And I got a cold foil gambler's gloves out of it. So
Oh yeah.
very
that
good
was
hit.
exciting
Good hit.
because I've never opened anything exciting like that. Obviously, I opened my footsteps. Yeah, and so that's probably it. Like, I don't have any of the real earlier spicy stuff. Like, I think there was cold foil. What was it? Nah, like any cold foil alpha or anything like that. But maybe one day.
This is still that's a collection. That's a great collection. It's better than what I got. I'll tell you what. Like my stuff, it's just in piles. I know I have probably almost every Majestic. Do I know where they're at? No. But like that, you got a proper collection. The binders are sorted. That's really cool. That probably just feels cool to look at.
And
Eric's on the same way.
haven't
Eric
been
always,
My
working-
binder sorted too.
So I haven't been working so I'm a contractor and I haven't worked for 2 months.
Okay.
So I've had a lot of time on my hands, and so I've sorted pretty much everything. And
That's awesome.
But it was very rewarding. It feels so good, and I just like looking at everything and pulling up my folders. But I use them. I play them. I play with all my cards
cool.
when I'm
Good.
trying different heroes and stuff. So.
Yeah. I am so happy you said all this because one of the videos I want to do, because we're about to hit that sweet off season for Flesh and Blood, where it's just like, everything's kind of chill. Once Worlds is gone, we're all chilling, right? Until heavy hitters. And at that point, I want to make like just kind of simple videos, but like showing like how to like store your collection and whatnot. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show these binders and like say, hey, this is like a great way to have it. Yeah, like I feel like that video needs to be out there. So I'm so happy you said that as well. So it's like, okay, all right. I'm not a weirdo. This is
Not
good.
at all.
This is
No.
normal.
No.
No, that's so sweet. I love that. So minus that Phantasmal Footsteps. What is your most prized, coveted card in the collection?
Elaine, do you want to go first? I need to think.
Oh, is this
As
a
a
question for me
Yeah,
too?
sure. We can throw it both ways. I'm down to clown.
Actually, I want to hear everyone's. to be
Okay, sure.
honest.
Everyone's, I guess.
Yeah.
Mine is actually not like a Flesh and Blood card that I pulled, but in the Calling Vegas, no, it wasn't the Calling Vegas. It was the Vegas Uprising World Premiere. I did the Icelander Uprising cosplay after doing the Icelander Everfest cosplay at Pro Tour New Jersey, and Steve Argyle was at the Uprising Vegas premiere, and he was like, "You're the same girl who did my Icelander cosplay from Everfest,"
so
and I was
cool.
like, "Yes, I was," and then he was like, he drew me a custom Icelander like card, and so it's like
That is cool.
it's yeah, it's I might have to go grab it. It's right over
Oh,
there.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely grab it. Yeah,
Get it.
Oh wow, that's sweet.
yeah. To be identified is actually really sweet too.
That's gonna
That's
parlay
very cool.
perfectly into my next question. Oh man.
All right.
Pipe.
I bet you were stoked when like he recognized you.
I was like actually late because this was in the middle of the calling, and
Okay.
I was late to my next match. And
Oh.
the judge, because I was just sitting there like I was bawling, I was in tears. I was like, "This is the most special thing that's ever happened to me." And then I was late to my next match, and the judge was there, and he's like, "Listen, you got like this penalty because you're late." And I was in tears, and I was like, "That's fine, I don't care." And my opponent was like, "Are you okay?" Because I was, like I said, crying. And I was like, "Look at this." I was shaking, and I like showed him the card and told him the story, and he was like, "Listen," he was like, "That's the coolest thing ever. Is it okay if I like overrule her penalty?" And the judge was like, "Technically no, but I'm gonna walk away, and what I don't see
Nice.
didn't happen." Right?
Nice.
So
Hell yeah, that's cool.
that is
You need to do
Oh,
the
wow.
makeup hand behind it.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
That is so sweet.
Oh,
I
that's
love
cool.
it. It's my prized possession for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
and
good
then
one.
a story behind it and everything. That's like
yeah, I don't know if I can
I
top
don't
that
think
one.
yeah, that's all that. All right, Melody, you figured it out?
Yes.
No pressure.
It's not a majestic or anything like that. It's nothing fancy. It's the melody card. The melody
That
hero
makes sense.
card.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
I like that.
Yes.
It is
So
they have cold foils coming up,
Mhm.
right?
Social play.
I hope to get one of those.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that'd be really, really cool.
yes. So that would definitely be
I
mine.
love that.
And there is a story behind that.
I love that.
That makes sense.
Ooh, let's hear it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Got me in, coach.
Story time.
So when I first heard about it, I was like, wow, cool, this is like a melody and she sings. And I had, like, she's amazing. And lots of people were like messaging me going, congratulations. And I'm like, about what? And they're like, about the card. It's all about you. And I'm like, no, it's not. I've not heard it from, no, it's not. And so then we had round the table and they released, the pre-release stuff and everyone's still going hard. And I'm like, no, like I haven't heard anything from anyone. So I emailed James. I was like, look, James, this might sound really weird. And I don't, think it has anything to do with me, but I just wanted to ask if this hero was at all inspired by me. And he's like, yes, Melody, I was definitely thinking of you when I named her. And I'm like,
Super cool.
okay, cool. So that's my story.
That is awesome.
And-
That's pretty sweet.
That's unbelievably cool. Now I'm always gonna think about you when I look at the card. Like, oh man, that's
She's
awesome.
so
One of
good.
my
I-
favorite things about Melody is she goes like, I was saying one of my favorite things about you, Melody, is you always just go straight for the straight to the source. You're so confident. You're like, I just shot James an email. And I was like, is this about me?
It's not really weird though, because I'm like, oh, and I think I said something like, I don't mean to sound, full of myself. I don't think it is at all, because I didn't. I keep getting messages. I'm like, I just need to find out once and for all. And he replied, and I'm like, holy shit. Pretty cool.
Oh my lord! So you guys heard that here
What about
first.
you guys?
If you have a
Good.
cold foot Melody, she has to sign it. Like that's all I gotta say.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a
All right,
great
Eric.
idea. Okay, sure. All right. Gabe, this you'll know this one. I'm gonna try to do the little.
oh, the makeup thing. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. So our
Uh-huh.
cold foil Hellhammer. This was our first spoiler. This brought some legitimacy to our YouTube. And yeah, I got to dress up like a metal head and
Made a song.
sing some lyrics and whatnot. So I was all about it. So that has a little special place in my heart.
Were you in a cosplay contest? What? Have I missed something?
No.
I mean,
This
he
was
did
just
cosplay
for
for the video, so I'll count it.
Yeah, I had the longer hair.
It was pretty funny. If you haven't seen it, it's actually a hoot. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
definitely should check it out later because
I went as a grown, like 30-year-old man. I went to a Hot Topic where all the teenagers are to go find like spike bracelets and whatnot, and it was an experience. It was sure enough, like nothing's changed about that place, which is cool. But yeah, it was. I felt a little off. I felt a little too old, but it was fun. I had a blast.
That's cool.
oh, that's awesome.
And what about you, Gabe?
Yeah. So I don't got any cards to show because I'm in my house. I keep my stuff at the store area. I would say I got 2 cards I really like. My probably most favorite one. I have the pink visor card, which is that Rude Eye specialization thing. Yet again, this is a sentimental one. Yeah. So Eric gave me that when we hit 1,000. So that made me really excited just because one of our little skits that we do when we make videos is I always have a pink visor. It's like kind of like it's totally ripping off Rudy for sure. That's where the inspiration came. But I mean, like, you can ask Eric. I've been talking about Rudy for the last decade. Like, he somehow gets brought up in so many conversations. Like, even before we played Flesh and Blood, that's who I'd follow and, like, just devote, I guess, my time to because I thought he was cool. I think he is cool still. Don't get me wrong. That's just not past.
He is cool.
He's cool. And
He's cool, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Everyone has their opinions, but so I always just would fanboy. Eric would just listen as a good friend. And then so I made it part of the skit, trying to just be very theatrical. So I was like, yeah, we have to get the pink visor. And then Eric got me a pink visor. So it was after we hit 1,000. So it just meant a lot in like a couple different realms. Especially like Rudy's how I found out about Flesh and Blood and how like that first was like not like first played in my life, but like the first word of it. I was like, oh, what's this? I'll watch his box break. I don't know what this is, but that sounds good. I'm doing nothing. So they had a couple different points. So it's probably my favorite card. Don't have it here to show because I have a small place, so I try to keep it orderly by not allowing cards in here at all times. It's like if they're in, they're out.
I'm sure Katie appreciates that.
But yeah,
That's really interesting. So that's how what inspired you to join and play Flesh and Blood was Rudy. Cool. Very cool.
So yeah, I guess playing wouldn't be as much the word. Eric definitely got me into the game, but it's definitely it's where we first.
Well, that's she's
it would be the catalyst. Because, like, catalyst, yeah.
Yeah, like I was a Magic the Gathering player, and at that time, I didn't like Rudy at all.
He hated
I was like,
we would go back and forth, and I'd tell him all about
Rudy's ruining the game. I was like the classic, like, I don't know. Anyways, that was who I was.
It's okay.
But yeah, Gabe said, "Hey, have you like looked at like this game called Flesh and Blood? Rudy plays it, or like Rudy introduced it." And I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I go to like a random card shop, and I
like
saw
way out of town too. I mean, like Eric was in the boonies, and he found it.
Yeah. And I picked it up, and I was like, oh, man, maybe this Rudy guy's on something. And then I told Gabe about it, and then here we are now.
Yeah, so yeah, you could say Rudy definitely got us there. Eric pushed me more to play the game, but Rudy definitely got us to the thing. So it's, yeah, that holds a sentimental and a lot of value. So, but your guys' stories, holy cow.
That's awesome.
Textbook, dude. That's cool.
We got some cool cards. I think we all got some really cool cards.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope most people in this community get that kind of joy. I would imagine, at least. Okay. Well,
this game has a good does a good job of like bringing not only the community part, which like is the best community of card games that I've been a part of, but like also just like the actual joy. I'm with you, Melody. The art is what got me into this, and I just wanted to say something on that. I think the foiling in this game is the best.
So good.
Like, when a cold foil, I don't care if it's a common cold foil, I'm still super stoked to get a cold foil.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay.
Yep,
I got another tangent while we were on the the cards collections. So yes, I think if you have a cold foil Melody needs to sign it. That's a topic we can hit with a hammer. But did you see at calling Melbourne? Because have you guys heard the story about Genus What You Need? Like the background of that hero and the inspiration.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that guy apparently was there. Genus or whatever, Kevin, whatever his name was, and he was signing everyone's penises. I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, that's cool.
And I thought it was so funny. And I'm assuming it was the same guy that they based off of. That's the way the Twitter post made it seem like. I don't remember who posted it, otherwise I totally shot that out. But then that's kind of what it was like. Oh yeah, Melody signs it. Like it's like collecting Pokemon. You get all your cards signed by the actual people.
The cool thing with James and the team is that there's a lot of, I guess, people in his life, and I think, you know, people that work at LSS that they incorporate into their cards. You know, there's his mum, there's his grandmother, there's Jean, there's Ian Kendeline, which is Ragamuffin's hat, there's Meeps, which is a part to play in like his nephew's.
Okay.
Like there's whole Melody.
That's cute.
Like, you know, like Coronet's Peak, which is, you know, New Zealand ski field. There's heaps of stuff, and probably lots that we don't even know about that he's woven into this game that's really personal to him. Which
I
is
didn't know
cool.
about half of those you said. That's insane.
I was like, you just rattled them off. I'm like,
That's knowledge? Cool.
Oh, which ones do you know about? I can share them.
I didn't know about Meeps. I didn't know about Cornet. I mean, I think I only knew about like one or two of them. That's so cool.
Yeah, so the Meeps, did you want to know the Meep story?
I love the Meeps.
Yeah.
You can ask Eric. Like anytime I get a skit about a Meep, I'm stoked. So yes.
That's so cute. So when I was at Nationals, I met James's nephew. He was working on the judging team, and I was talking away. Anyway, one of the other judges asked me if I knew the Meep story. I'm like, oh no, what's that? So, you know, they're little meat things that steal things. So James's nephew has a daughter, and she has imaginary friends apparently, and they're called Meeps. And so what happens in their household is the stuff goes missing, and she blames the Meeps. And so James incorporated that into our game. And that's how Meeps came about.
Heartwarming.
It's so cute.
that makes me want to cry. That's so cute.
That's pretty good.
But like, I think we're kind of lucky
boy.
here because James lives here, and so, you know, and the Auckland. So he lives in Auckland, and lots of the Auckland crew, you know, obviously know him really well, and he shares stories and stuff, and it filters down to us and the rest of the country. So we learn more, but try to sharing it today. So hopefully, lots more people learn about it.
Yeah.
Beautifully.
No, this is I'm gonna go to my next arm and be like, hey, I see you playing mischievous Meeps. Let me tell you something.
Literally, right? Spread the good word, baby.
Fun fact, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got another cool thing, another question. We'll move from the collector stuff. You brought it up a little bit earlier, Elaine, this is for you. Your Icelander. So cool. Like, tell us what necessarily inspired you for the actual card Icelander to cosplay as, and then, like, what kind of journey did you have through that, if you're cool with that?
Yeah, so Icelander. So I got into this game. I was dating this guy at the time. He was a Magic player when I started dating him. He seeped into Flesh and Blood and other TCGs, but he got really into Flesh and Blood. And anyway, I started taking some interest in it, mainly just because he was gone every weekend playing this game, and I was like, "What? Where are we? Can I come play? Like, what are we doing?" And so I started like going through his cards and stuff. He was at work one day, and I found Icelander, and something about that Steve Argyle art, like she just looked glittery, beautiful, princess, snow, winter, wizard, all of the fantastic things, all of the above. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I was like, I could do this as like a Halloween costume or something, and like I could try and do this makeup. So I recreated like the whole face makeup look, and he came home from work and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, look, like I think I could do this. And he was like, that's cosplay, you could cosplay, like. And I was like, oh, cool. So I started like actually looking into like doing the cosplay, and then that original Icelander cosplay was like constructed in like a week from things I had around my house, because I started playing the game. I got pretty into the game, and then my parents kind of like surprised me with a trip to Pro Tour New Jersey because I really wanted to go and I knew I wouldn't be able to go alone, and they surprised me with it, and I was like, I'm gonna get in cosplay then because there's gonna be a cosplay competition. I want to wear cosplay, so I like threw together that Icelander cosplay, and it just kind of like snowballed from there because Melody and I started talking about, I guess, in the works, like we started connecting over we hadn't I don't think we had announced anything, or because our first episode came out the weekend of the uprising pre-release, but we had started connecting and talking about creating this podcast, and I met James White and I talked to him about it, and anyway, and so I just kind of became known as the Icelander girl because it was the first time anyone had done it. And then James offered me an Icelander preview card for Uprising, and I was like, yes. And I started working on the next cosplay because I wanted to go to Vegas and cosplay as that. So I saved and went to Vegas and made this new cosplay. But really, it was just kind of like that Steve Argyle art. Something about the makeup captivated me, and then it just kind of snowballed, and I was like, I just want to keep going. And I have a few new cosplays coming that I'll be doing in December at the Realm events.
Ooh, all right.
And
Fun.
the process of picking a cosplay is both just kind of what captives. Anytime a new card comes out and it's whatever just kind of speaks to you and touches you. I have a very long list in my phone of all the cosplays I want to do, and it's just kind of I pick one based on time and money and resources. I'm just kind of which one can I realistically do right now but yeah,
I got a question about that list then, because I know you're really getting hyped for that adult Kasai if it comes out. Is it Kasai got to be somewhere near that top, right?
She's on there. Question. She's top on the list. Yeah, Kasai is definitely on there. The interesting thing about Kasai is I love Kasai very much, and as soon as there's an adult Kasai, I'm kind of holding off on the young Kasai for an adult Kasai and hopes. And at the same time, it's something, I don't know how to say this except the fact that I must really not like myself because I like giving myself a lot of work. If that makes sense, Kasai looks so simple to me, and I'm I want to do it because that's my hero, but then at the same time, I'm or I could invest 100 hours crafting this one.
Right, something super extravagant.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. And then
I don't think we've seen a Kasai yet.
There was one in Australia. I'm blanking on her name, but she did one. It was over a year ago by now. But that's the only Kasai that I have seen was that one Kasai in Australia, I believe.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, but you won the tournament with your Icelander, is that correct? Or not tournament, misspeak. Contest,
I guess.
Is that the word?
I actually won not with Icelander, but I won with my sash of Sandakai at U.S. Nationals. Was when I won my Taylor card.
That was a cool one. I really
Vegas. Let's see. Carolina won the Pro Tour New Jersey with Exude Confidence. That was when I did the Steve Argyle. And then in Vegas,
it's a Genus, right?
it was Genus What You Need, which was
that one.
whoa. So incredible. As well as Carolina's,
Yeah.
Apologies. Yeah, so okay, that got it. But congrats, that's awesome. Do you play with your Taylor then in UPF?
I actually don't. I don't have it anymore.
That's fair.
That's fair.
It's totally fair.
Can't blame you there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was because the day that I won it, it was I won it, and then 10 seconds later, it was here's an offer. Here's 1 million offers for this card, and I was give me a minute. Let me enjoy it. Whoa.
Right. Yeah, let me look at it a little bit.
Yeah, let me look at it. Okay, but then it was I'm scared to look at it. Don't imagine it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh man,
Cool.
All right, Eric, you got. I know you have a couple questions left. Those are the good ones. We already know the answer to one of them for sure. But it's your favorite question, Eric. You always ask it. You try to figure it out.
Yeah, it is.
What
Okay,
is it?
you're right. We do. Okay. All right. I am like you, Melody. I am the Excel sheet person in this in me and Gabe's relationship here, and I am always the organized one. But I make it a little fun because what I like to do is I like to go and look at all my guests, and then I like to have this next column over what their favorite hero is. So I think I got yours, Elaine. I think you mentioned Briar. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Briar and Kasai were those are my, and actually Dorinthia, because Dorinthia is the hero that like I found that drew me to the game.
Okay.
And I don't really play her, but she'll always have a very special place in my heart for that.
That's fair. That is fair. That's what I kind of like is that oftentimes I don't even have to necessarily ask the question. It kind of just comes out. But I am a little bit, I mean, I have a guess what yours could be at this point. But is it Melody at this point? I'm kind of curious.
It's either that or Dromai. I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Or
Yes. That's right.
It's
Dromai. It's
Really?
Dromai. And probably, I've only played Melody once.
Okay.
She's so much fun to play. Like have you guys played Round the Table
cool.
yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So fun.
Yes. it
I
is.
actually have not.
What?
No.
Oh, it's
You're
You
missing
gotta
out.
you gotta do it.
It's
It's a hoot. That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you just update your spreadsheet?
good job, Gabe.
Oh, yeah, you can see the blue glow on his head.
I'm doing it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You don't want to forget.
Oh.
It's
Yep.
just for fun, or are you cataloging for?
I don't know. It is kind of for fun, but like we're scientists. We kind of like just data.
Yeah,
in
just
general.
collecting data. Yeah, that's what I was
Doesn't hurt
like.
to have, I suppose. It'd be a cool thing down the line.
Yeah. Let's see here. I think actually Dash and Viscerai are the most favored right now.
Really?
Yeah. But Melody, you are the first Dromai that we've had on so far. So congratulations.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I know. I imagine, that's going to change as we get more and more guests on, as she is quite popular right now, and I'm sure a lot of people connect with her. But that's just where we're at right now. All right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming
Appreciate
on.
it greatly.
I appreciate that so much. I definitely appreciate what y'all do for the community, allowing, a less, like you said, a less spoken, part be more heard. Like bringing on and talking and bringing to attention a lot of different topics that the average white guy is not going to ever think about, or whatever. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate just your content in general. Like even with everything else, it's just good content. So
Thanks.
y'all, I cannot wait for this new pod. And thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, it's awesome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. It means a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had heaps of fun.
Well, thank you to the listeners out there. I appreciate y'all coming in for episode 41. We are going to keep going strong. We're going to have Kapalo on next week.
Oh.
He is infamous Dash player. So we're going to see what he's thinking, especially with this new Dash.io coming up in World. So stay tuned for that. But until then, keep on fabbing.